is Leeds Trinity University.
Welcome to Yorkshire Voice Newscast programme at quarter past one. I'm Will Cole.
And I'm Ash Shakib. Coming up in today's programme, we'll be talking about passport delays wreaking havoc for holiday goers and passport security.
But first, we have a special guest interview with Adam Hurd, owner of the award-winning Hurd's Family Fisheries. Hello, Adam.
Yeah, hi there. You're right.
Yeah, good, thank you. So, you are on a BBC Two show, aren't you? Coming up very soon, Britain's Top Takeaways.
That's right. Yeah, but with Sarah Cox and Darren Harriott
Wonderful.
hosting it.
So before we talk about that, I just want to say we've had a little look at your menu this morning, and everything looks absolutely amazing.
It really
Oh,
does.
thank you.
So to start with, would you be able to tell us a little bit kind of about the awards that you've won in the past? We can see you've won quite a few awards as a chippy yourselves.
Yeah, our biggest one to date was Just Eat Award, which was down at the Savoy in 2018, and we won the best takeaway in Yorkshire.
Wow.
David Williams hosted that, so we got awarded a trophy with David Williams down at the Savoy in London.
Wow, I bet that was an amazing experience.
Oh, it was, yeah. Yeah, we've been in the final every year, but we've only just won it the once. But yeah, absolutely fantastic experience.
Yeah, I mean, you say just winning it the once, but I think once is quite impressive.
Well, it is, yeah. You only need to win it once, really, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so I mean, you guys have been absolutely smashing it out of the park. And like I say, you've got your awards. So now the next step is this BBC Two show, Britain's Top Takeaways, and airing this Monday, I believe.
Yes, BBC Two at 8:00.
Fantastic. So will you be able to tell us a little bit about your experience on that? What was it like? How did you feel when you found out that you were going to be on it?
Yeah, they approached us in March 2021, and we filmed it in Manchester in July. It was a 13-hour day of filming with, I don't know, there's about sort of 10 cameras in your face, and yeah, it was sort of very intense. We sort of had a Just Eat machine in our little kitchen, and we were going against another 4 more fish and chip shops. So the orders would come through. We had 30 minutes to prepare the order, and then it went out on mopeds to the houses, and then it was sort of like Gogglebox, where people were filmed in the houses critiquing your food.
Amazing. And they judged then and decided the winners.
Yeah, they score every round, and then we're told the score every round as well. But obviously we don't know anything that they've said.
Yeah, I was going to ask that.
We'll be watching it on Monday night ourselves, nervously.
So you're completely unaware what they've said about your food?
Oh yeah, we haven't got a clue. We haven't got a clue.
I'm sure that's what works well.
Very nervous but exciting wait.
Absolutely. I know. I mean, we can't wait to find out how you guys have done. So, I mean, just talking about the menu, we've got to ask I've personally never seen dirty fries like chorizo fries in a fish and chip shop before. Whose idea was that to kind of have such a variety on a menu? Yeah,
it's always my menu. I've been in catering all my life, and yeah, I've always liked to sort of mix things up and, you know, be a bit more different than everybody else. And basically, the taste is the most important factor of it all, really. You know, everything's got to marry together. But yeah, we're always coming up with new things.
Amazing. And what's next for you guys?
Oh, I have no idea. Find out next week.
How does the show works? Is it so you're being pitted against other fish and chip shops?
Yeah, there's 5 of us in it. There's just us from Yorkshire. There was 1 from Scotland, 1 from Wales, and there were 2 down south.
And then is it a case of the winner is the kind of winner of the fish and chip shops, or is there another round for the winner?
No, that's it. Yeah, you're just crowned the best fish and chip shop in the UK.
Amazing.
Which isn't a bad.
No, that's not a bad mantle to have.
I just wanted to ask, what's this? Can you share what the secret is to your batter? What makes it so good?
Well, we actually use a gluten-free batter.
Oh, really?
Gluten-free is a huge part of our business. So our full frying range is all gluten-free. And the gluten-free batter is so light and crisp, and yeah, you can't fault it. It's better than a wheat-based flour in my eyes.
Brilliant. I'm going to try that out next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can people tell the difference?
No.
Wow.
No, it's something we never advertise to start with, really, except to our gluten-free customers.
Yeah.
But we obviously taste tested to our regular customers to get their feedback, and yeah, they were always blown away with it without even knowing it was gluten-free. So
Amazing. Has that always been the case, or is it something that you've kind of developed as you've gone on?
we used to have a separate kitchen in the back for all the gluten-free, but with it becoming more popular and the product's so good, we actually moved it across to our full range.
Fantastic. I mean, we can't wait to watch you on BBC Two on Monday. Like I said, at 8:00.
8:00 BBC Two, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us. Absolutely best of luck.
No problem at all. No, I appreciate you.
We'll be rooting for you.
Yeah, well, thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
See ya.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye. And the cost of living crisis is actually having a domino effect on our beloved fish and chip shops. The cost of supplies is going up, as is the cost of utilities, making it more expensive and less profitable to run a local chippy.
I do come across.
In fact, the National
I don't know what that was.
In fact, the National Federation of Fish Fryers are saying that shops are now paying more than double what they were a few months ago.
Yeah, now there are fears that nearly 1/3 of all fish and chip shops across the UK will be forced to close within the next 6 months. We spoke to Zahad Amin, the owner of Fish Dish in Bradford, about how rising costs.
I do come across quite a few cash and carries where we do come across different suppliers with different brands, but I have noticed they've all set their prices at the top end. There were cheaper brands, they've also moved up to the top end as well. Even other suppliers, like my potato supplier that also supplies oil, has also increased the price of oil for myself as well. There's nothing you can do about oil. Oil is that product where you can't mix it or you can't find a substitute for it because it's very difficult. I used to buy the oil at £18 a block because it comes solidified, but now it's gone to £25, and every week it's going up £1 and then another £1. So it's either talking to the traders and shouting at them on the phone saying what you guys are doing to try to push that price down a bit, or it could be just the supply chains pushing up for them, so they have to then increase it for us. It's the same scenario with fish. The fish price has just doubled. What you used to pay for £130 for 20 kg, you're now paying £220 for the same amount. They say 40% of the fish comes from Russia because they own more of the North Atlantic Ocean. So with that supply kind of disrupted, it's now pushed towards Norway, Iceland, Greenland, Faroe Islands, and that price of fish has gone skyrocketed as well. That's all sizes, either the small, the medium, and the very large fish has also skyrocketed. My hoping was if there's a worldwide recession going on, then the markets in China and America, which do come over here to buy our fish and buy our goods, they will start to slowly purchase less. Therefore, it makes it slightly bearable then for us to then purchase the fish from here at a reasonable price. Right now, we have started doing small fish and chips here at Fish Dish, and a medium fish and chips and a large fish and chips. So we do cater for the 3 different price brackets. So if you want to spend a little bit, you can go for the smaller portion. If you've got more income disposable, then you can go for the bigger fish options. Also, fish and chips is comfort food. You do eat it, it does keep you full all day long. It's not like pasties or sandwiches, which you're hungry after half an hour. And the chips, full of minerals, full of vitamins. The fish, full of nutrients. It's not been modified, it's not had no growth stuff in it, it's had no chemicals, nothing. The fish comes straight out of the water, the potatoes come straight out of the ground, we rumble and chip them on site, and the fish is also cut on site. The only thing you can't do nothing about is the oil. But hopefully customers are understanding. They're seeing a general increase everywhere across in all stores of prices going up. So it's not like, oh, you guys have increased it, nobody else has. Everybody has. Even the smaller, cheaper fish shops that used to sell stuff have now also increased theirs. What I'm worried about, everything's okay now because they're all in gas and electric contracts. once these contracts come up for renewal in a year or 2 years' time, all these takeaways and restaurants will, I think, feel it then, because most of their equipment is all gas burners, griddles, most Henny Penny machines are on gas for chicken, and I do think then it's going to affect it a lot. Very luckily, I purchased a Hopkins high energy efficient range, which reduced my gas bills by 60% when I purchased it 5 years ago. So thinking forward, I'm very lucky I've done that. Still, I need to find a solar panel frying range, because that's the way things are going. So I'm calling Hopkins to ask them, and they go, it's in the line and it'll be ready in about 10 years' time.
So next up, we have the Bank of England that have increased interest rates to the highest level in 13 years to try and tackle inflation. Rates have increased from 0.75 to 1%, and this is the fourth consecutive increase since December.
This decision is controversial as the cost of living crisis continues. We spoke to the people of Leeds about what they think about the rising costs.
It's disgusting. I've got £2.25 a week extra, and my electric bill, my gas and electric have doubled, and they're going up again. So I think it's disgusting.
It's diabolical, absolutely diabolical. For people like us, pensioners on fixed income, we're just getting poorer and poorer and poorer every year.
It's not very good. Everything's gone up, so being pensioners, it can have a limited effect of money rising, haven't we? So as pensions haven't gone up much, just get on with it. That's all we can do, isn't it? We've got to pay it, so that's it.
Those that have got big incomes don't really bother about it, do they? And those that haven't are really struggling. So it is awful.
Terrible. We're on pension, so we've got to learn to survive.
Student police officers are doing their media training here at Leeds Trinity today.
Yeah, that's right. They have to undergo questioning by our student journalist in a mock press conference about a fake crime. I was lucky enough actually to catch a glimpse of it earlier, and seeing our tutor Lindsay pose as a fake and intrusive journalist was very amusing.
Apparently they made someone mad.
I think there was somebody outside making noise on a lawnmower, which is another distraction. So actually, it should be grateful. It's helped with their training. But I'm very impressed that they managed to keep their cool with all of the destructions.
Of course. I mean, very impressive. We spoke to Simon Atkinson's, actually, the head of the crime training at West Yorkshire Police.
So why are you here at Leeds Trinity today?
Yeah, over the last couple of years, West Yorkshire Police Crime Training have worked really closely with Leeds Trinity University to develop a media aspect of our senior investigating officer course, and it's proved to be a really useful partnership. Both ourselves in crime training and the media students have got a tremendous amount of benefit from working together.
Yeah, and I bet it's quite important for police to train to be able to talk to journalists as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And this training and this partnership with the university is invaluable in allowing police officers to gain that experience in this safe environment as well, to get that exposure to being asked challenging questions, and the students here at the university are really good at asking challenging questions.
Yeah, so do you think it's important for them to also train with students that are training to be journalists as well, rather than them just training with already qualified journalists?
Yeah, I do. And we've seen through our experience that, those students that we are getting exposed to are asking really, in-depth questions. And so, they haven't been in any way tainted by their journalistic experience. We're getting raw questions, but really insightful questions as well, which is really useful. And it's refreshing that this is, putting my students from a policing point of view, sometimes on the back foot as well. And it's not a safe environment, and they're being tested as well, which is really good.
Yeah. So what's your partnership with Leeds Trinity?
Yeah, our partnership has developed because we've looked, because we obviously send all our student officers now to Leeds Trinity University to train them right from day one. We're in partnership as part of the Police Education Qualification Framework, PQF. So we send all our students there. And this is just seen as a natural progression of that working relationship, that it's not just about new student officers. it's about experienced officers as well. You know, the old adage, you're never too old to learn, is really important. And this partnership is fantastic in progressing that learning journey for us all.
Yeah. And how important do you think it is that police have contact with journalists?
It's extremely important. You know, as police officers, we've always got messages, a variety of messages that we need to get over to the public. And speaking to journalists is an integral part of connection with the public as well. You know, we live in a free press society, which is extremely important. And, you know, our exposure to journalists is important. But there again, the training to prepare us for that is as equal as important.
Well, some very interesting training going on there. I've got to ask you, Ash, have you ever fancied being a police officer?
You know what? When I was like 10 or 11, yes. And
Yeah.
then I sort of then I grew up and interacted with the police officers in real life and realized, I don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah, I think I was the same. To be honest. I think I grew up, my problem is I grew up watching too much TV.
Yeah.
So I was watching Sherlock thinking, I could go out and solve crimes easy.
Yeah.
But no, I think I'm much happier sat here than out on the street patrolling.
Of course.
But yeah, in other news, we've heard today that passport renewal delays could be putting a spanner in the works for Brits planning to go on holiday this summer. The passport office says that the minimum time someone will have to wait for passport is now 10 weeks as they deal with the backlog of 500,000 passport applications.
Our reporter Grace McGorry spoke to a travel agent, Howard Coffey, from Howard's Way Travel Centre, who gives his advice for those planning to travel this summer.
The reason why they're being delayed is due to working from home, and this has been an ongoing problem. So a passport now can take up to 10 weeks before it gets returned. So my advice is, if you're going away any time in the summer, give yourself at least 3 months before you go if you're renewing your passport.
And then, so kind of what is the situation that people are dealing with? Is it just passport delays, or is it other things?
No, the biggest problem in my eyes is the actual validity of your passport. Since we left the EU, the expiry date on your passport is immaterial. It's the issue date. The issue date of your passport, it's got to be within 10 years of your departure. So, for example, if your passport was issued on the 29th of November 2012, that'll actually expire on the 28th of August 2022, because you've got to have at least 3 months validity on it from the issue date, not the expiry date. So my advice would be just check the date your passport was issued, and if you're not sure, contact the post office or even the passport office, because you will get turned away at the airport, and it's your fault because you haven't checked it. But due to COVID, these restrictions haven't become common knowledge.
Yeah, and have you had any customers that have?
Yeah, we've had customers who have actually had one customer who was actually a passport had not fallen into this category, but luckily she got through. But I wouldn't recommend it. So we do tell our customers to double check everything, from validity of passport, even down to making sure that you've got the relevant documentation for entry into the destination you're going to. Nothing worse than turning up at the airport and being refused entry.
I need to check my passport next time. I mean, I'm not planning to go anywhere in summer. How about you, Will?
We might actually. I think I've not been on holiday since before the pandemic, so I'd love to go away somewhere, maybe like Italy or somewhere warm, somewhere where I can go and relax on a beach.
Leeds Bradford Airport's just opened up new routes to Sicily. So
there you go. Yeah. Happy days. Absolutely. I'd love to get there as soon as possible, I think.
Of course.
So next up, we're going from passports to passwords. Online passwords are being deemed unsafe, with some people saying they should be scrapped altogether and replaced with a multi-factor authentication system. We spoke to Professor Daniel Niagu, a professor of computing with the University of Bradford.
You can see changes actually in the way the banks are moving and the legislation. Okay, so the regulatory bodies, because the banks didn't actually have this kind of a standard development into how much, what, and how our financial details are shared and who takes the responsibility of the payments, for example. Okay, and the direction is again statistically meaningful, that if more people will spend more money online, then the banks will not be able to support a tax on these things. So going backwards to what, going down to what you said in terms of say identification, our identification for services using resources that could be more valuable than the service we're paying for. I presume what I would like to see is a kind of a financial buffer or a security buffer that will allow us to play games with small amounts of money, so that are classified and managed accordingly, such as the attacks will go into the buffer rather than to go into the main source of the money. So when I'll use my password for, say, daily routine things, exactly like in a castle, I'll have the moffats of the towers outside or the first walls actually being attacked, but my treasure that is inside will be below the second wall. And this is where I would expect intelligence to start playing games to identify the services and the amounts of money and the impact taken care of. At the moment, we have a single point of failure, so which is our practically the banks are pushing us in the front line to take responsibility, which is fine. Is a way. Is again, if you want it, is a two-factor authentication as well. It's nothing more than this. But I presume we have to start using intelligence into the classification of the services we want to do and their impact. And this is where I think more is to come, and more, effort should be paid in research in a common battle. So I think it's not just the legislators saying something, the bank saying something, the service provider saying something, and us. It should be a common effort. At the moment, it's not. We are still playing on different mechanisms at once. And this is where we sometimes ask ourselves how we can defend us, because the information is not fully and completely relevant for all parties.
That's brilliant. Thank you. Anything, Ash, to add?
So currently with passports, we haven't got much time. So, but with current passports, do you have any sort of tips or advice for people to make sure their accounts are as secure as possible as of right now?
So you are asking me to replace the confidence of people in the procedures and mechanisms that the government, the service providers, and the banks are giving us. From a responsible academic perspective, I cannot advise but just to follow the current legislation and the current rules that we sign for with the service providers. Okay, I cannot ask for people to do more than that, but we know that some of us are doing better or worse in terms of identity protection and the passwords generation based on practical advices or something that is suitable for us as well. Okay, so some people, that includes some people I truly know, including myself, can generate passwords on the fly, but we need a storage for these complicated passwords because we cannot manage them. Okay, so that storage is the second level of protection. What I can tell you is that the passwords must be changed, and it should be different levels of password generation depending on how you consider that the value of the things they protect would be impacted by any attack. So I'll put a small credit card, because the credit cards have their own, say, risk management in the services with Amazon, should we allow the idea of credit card being part of our lives, and that credit card to have a small limit of money. And if it's attacked, just to go, okay, so we can lose, I don't know, £200, say, okay, because of an attack. But our direct debit, our main accounts, our savings will not be suitable or sensitively attacked by the same things. And to have the main resources somehow shared in different pods with different levels of complexity, such as we can survive, is, if you want, is a personal war against a nobody knows enemy.
Well, with today being National Password Day, we thought we'd go through the top 5 passwords and just to see.
Yeah, we did. And apologies in advance to anyone who may get hacked after this. If you do, then change passwords. So in 5th place is 111111. A nice easy one.
And I'm just wondering how because that doesn't. If you type in that password, that wouldn't be accepted. So how?
Who knows? It must be somewhere that they don't have strict limits on passwords.
Yeah.
In fourth place, we have QWERTY123. It's like the first 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters of the keyboard.
I mean,
Another nice and easy one that I don't know. I just don't know why you would do that.
well, to be fair, passwords are really difficult to remember.
This is true.
There's so many different accounts you have to keep track of.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. In third place, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would say that's a classic. That used to be the one to get into my computer.
Not anymore, though.
Not anymore, though, of course. No. And in second place, in fact, Ash, have a guess. What do you think is in one of the most common passwords?
Obviously, it's password.
Yeah,
Obviously.
absolutely. It's in second place. Password.
My password used to be. I like to put used to be incorrect. Just to remind
the word incorrect.
Yeah, I copied it from a friend.
That's fantastic. And then the nation's favorite password is, it's kind of similar to one of the old ones actually. It's just QWERTY, QWERTY. So if that is your password, change it ASAP. Yeah, and if there's any hackers listening, then they're the ones to go for, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, what do you? I can't just ask what's your password. I don't know why I thought that was a good question.
Well,
no, but sort of, do you think that using personal information in your password is a good idea?
Oh, I don't think so.
You do.
I don't think so. I mean, I did actually used to have.
What's your mother's maiden name?
I used to have a very randomly named pet named after a Man United footballer, Dimitar Berbatov, and I had a guinea pig called Dimitar, and for a while that was one of my pet passwords. It's after the pet, but not anymore. I'm just going to say that to be clear on air. I do believe the advice is to make sure passwords are at least 12 characters long and contain letters, numbers, and special characters.
Yeah, I'm not sure I have time for that, to be honest.
Finally, we're going to pass over now to our weather correspondent, Chloe, for this week's forecast.
Well, we have some light showers forecast for tonight, which is such a shame after such a lovely day. Tomorrow is the same, unfortunately, but we should see it clear up over the next week. And that heat wave they promised us is on its way, with temperatures rising to 19-20 degrees. So who needs to wait for a passport to go on holiday with temperatures creeping up like that, eh? I think we should dust off the barbecues.
Thanks so much, Chloe.
Thanks, Chloe.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have missed any of the show, you'll be able to download it from your favorite podcast provider.
Please join us tomorrow at 1:15 for more news and hopefully less. Yeah.
Less technical interruptions. Thank you. Goodbye.